Hey everyone, I'm Tsunami. Welcome to my new video. In this video, we will fill a sketchbook spread. But before we start painting, I have an announcement to make. Starting today, November the 1st, there's a new patron tier, the Bloom Friends. Bloom Friends get everything the Shroom Friends already have. Things like exclusive sketchbook pages, sometimes a video, sometimes polls, access to our Discord server, or little behind the scenes things, and all the creative stuff which is in my mind at the moment. And there's something new too for the Bloom Friends. There is a monthly high-res digital print to download, and in this month, November, it is this painting here. This is one of my favorites and it came to life in a YouTube video. I will link it down below. Perhaps you want to watch it. And if you would like to have this and support my work, then check out my Patreon. Thank you so much for your kindness and your support. All right, then let's get into the video. I hope you will enjoy this very calm and cozy sketchbook session and maybe feel a little bit inspired to paint along. Today, I just felt like painting in my sketchbook again, and I finally wanted to use my Kuretake Gansai Tambi paints. They are Japanese watercolors that feel a bit like a mix between watercolor and gouache. Soft, rich, and kind of buttery. I love them. I really love them. I picked a few colors from the two sets I have. The Art Nouveau palette, which has those muted vintage tones I adore, and a 36 color set with some really lovely shades as well. But first, I wanted to look through some of my old vintage nature guides for inspiration. I felt like doing a cozy nature sketching spread today, so I flipped through my books to find some plants and animals that fit together thematically. You can often find books like these in thrift stores. I always keep an eye out for them. I just love those old botanical, especially the botanical illustrations. Also, the animal illustrations are wonderful in these books. My plan was to choose a few matching species, a plant, a frog, maybe some insects, fish, and sketch them loosely across both pages. I wanted the plant to climb up the page on the right, on top, in a decorative way, and maybe add a few little fantasy elements here and there. Sometimes I just copy the illustrations directly when I'm not feeling inspired, but other times I like to change things, to let my imagination wander a bit and add a whimsical, magical touch. Today I decided to do both, the animals more true to reference and the plant more stylized and like it's moving kind of, and maybe even some tiny hidden creatures on the roots. For this spread I chose a pond theme, simply because I fell in love with the plant I found and really wanted to paint it. Then I saw these adorable little fish with their funny names, and everything just started to fit together naturally. Before I started painting, I remembered that I still had some swatches in my window of the Art Nouveau set for a lightfast test since August 2024 actually. So it's been over a year now and I wanted to share the results with you. Most of the colors look great, except for the pink tones. I expected this, I guess, which have faded, sadly, especially color 301, that beautiful lilac shade, which I really love. It's one of my most favorite tones here in the set, and it faded so much and it changed color. I'm really sad about this. A few other changed slightly too. Number 303, 304, 18 and 17, but the rest are completely fine, as you can see. Interestingly, the Dusty Rose color number 19 didn't fade at all. That was a nice surprise. So overall, still a gorgeous set, but maybe not ideal if you love using those delicate pinks. I would only use them in my sketchbooks. The other set I want to test in my window as well. I want to see which colors are light fast and which are not. I think this is always interesting to see, especially if you want to hang your paintings on the wall and frame them or gift them to other persons or sell them, of course. After that, I selected my colors for today's spread. Some beautiful greens, a few browns, yellows, and a hint of turquoise. Then I started with my first layer, blending the greens together softly to give everything a natural, lively feel. Most of the time, like today, I listen to podcasts, sometimes music, while I paint, and just let the process flow. I know it's autumn right now and pond plants aren't exactly blooming, but I just felt like painting them anyway. After all, they are still alive, even in the colder months, quietly resting below the surface. I also decided to write both the Latin and the German names next to the plant and the animals. Some of them sound so funny or cute in German. I had to write down the German names too. For example, the plant, okay, now the Latin name, Arrtx morsus ranae, is called Froschbiss, which literally means frog bite. That name comes from its Latin translation, morsus ranae, the bite of a frog. People once thought the little notches in its round leaves looked like a frog had taken a bite out of them before hopping away. Of course, frogs don't really eat the plant, but the name stayed, and I think it's such a charming detail from old botanical history. And these tiny fish, Leucaspius delineatus, are called Modalieschen in German, which roughly translated to little muddy lizzie. In English, they are known as sunbleaks. Isn't it also such a lovely word? And of course, a pond spread wouldn't be complete without the water frog, Rana esculenta, and one of those adorable back swimmer beetles that I always love watching when I'm next to a pond. Then I wanted to share a few mythological and folklore stories about frogs, because such mythological stories always fascinated me. In European folklore, frogs have always carried a quiet kind of magic. They belong to both worlds, water and land, and because of that, they have often been seen as symbols of transition, of rebirth, and the mysterious balance between two elements. In many old traditions, people believed that frogs could summon the rain. When they sang loudly in spring or on humid summer nights, it was said that they calling the clouds to open, inviting the sky to nourish the earth again. And even today, that soft chorus of frogs after a rainfall still feels a little like a song of gratitude. There's a certain tenderness in the life of a frog. From a tiny speck of an egg to a tadpole swimming in shallow water and then slowly, almost shyly, growing legs and learning to breathe air. It's such a beautiful symbol of transformation. Maybe that's why frogs appear in so many stories and mythologies and stuff. In Slavic mythology, there's a tale of the frog princess, a creature both humble and wise. She appears in the shape of a frog, but when she sheds her skin, she reveals as a young woman of great intelligence and heart. It's a story about seeing beyond appearances, about how something small and overlooked can carry unexpected grace. And in some parts of Germany, people once whispered that if a frog jumped into your path on a spring morning, it meant that good fortune was near, that life was about to bloom again. Frogs were protectors of the wetlands, guardians of the quiet ponds where so much new life begins. Frogs remind us that change doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. It can be gentle, like a quiet ripple on the surface of a pond. It felt so good to work on these pages again. The past few days I've been sick, and that's why my voice sounds not perfect today. I caught COVID and had fever, and I'm still not completely recovered yet, so my brain has been a bit foggy the last days. But painting the spread really lifted my mood and gave me a sense of calm and normality again. I was hoping to finish the video in time for Saturday, but perhaps it ends up coming out on Sunday. I don't know yet. We will know right now when you're watching this video, when this video came out. Well, that's just how life goes sometimes. We are human, plans shift, and that's okay. With the second layer, I added smaller details, some shadows and stuff, and this awesome pattern on the leaves and the texture here. The yellow centers of the flowers as well, and those reddish tips of the leaves. That helped bring everything to life, I guess. Here, 2 layers were absolutely enough, and after that I wanted to draw all the final details with my colored pencils. I refined the animals and added depth and a few soft highlights with a white colored pencil. Yeah, it's one of those pages that start simple and end up feeling so satisfying, and a reminder that inspiration often comes once you begin. If you ever feel stuck and don't know what to paint, I can really recommend this kind of pages. Use reference books or vintage botanical illustrations. You can find lots of them online too, also on Pinterest sometimes, or if you Google them. Pick a theme you like, maybe plants and insects, or forest mushrooms, or seashells and sea life, and just start painting. It doesn't have to be perfect or clever. Sometimes the simple act of putting color on paper is all it takes to feel inspired again. And it just helps to start on days when you are not feeling so much inspired. You know, One of my favorite things about nature sketching is how much you end up learning almost without even trying. When you start observing plants and animals closely enough to draw them, you begin to notice all these tiny details that you normally overlook. The way a leaf curves toward the light, or how a frog's skin shifts from greens to gold depending on the angle. It's like the world slowly starts revealing its secrets to you. I think sketching makes you a quieter observer. You stop rushing, you start to see, and the more you see, the more curious you become. Suddenly you find yourself looking up the names of plants, learning which ones grow near the water, which insects live there, and somehow you feel a little more connected to everything around you. Even if you don't plan to paint perfectly, even if it's just a few messy sketches in your journal, it still feels special because it's time spent noticing, and that's something we all need a bit more of. Sometimes I think that's what sketchbooks are for, not just to record what we see, but to remind us how beautiful it feels to pay attention. I really love how it turned out. It's been such a cozy and peaceful project, and even though I wasn't feeling my best, it reminded me how healing it can be to just paint. If you'd like to support my work and get access to exclusive printable downloads, behind the scenes posts and cozy extras, feel free to take a look at my Patreon. The new Bloom Friends tier just launched, and I'm so excited to finally share it with you. A very special thank you to all of my wonderful patrons. Your kindness truly keeps this little art world of mine blooming. I'm so grateful for every one of you. Thank you so much. And if you enjoyed this video, maybe leave a like or subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps my channel grow. Thank you so much. Alright, let's wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed this calm sketchbook session and maybe felt a little inspired to paint along. Then I wish you an awesome week, my friends. See you next time. And until then, take good care and stay cozy. Yours Xunani.